body of things that we say that we're going to do, but in reality, 97 out of 100 people die broke or on a small fixed income.
Wow.
Because they never really get themselves to take action to make a difference in their life and the difference for other people. And so I said to myself, I'm not going to be one of that 97%. And then I also said to myself, I want to change that number. That's one of my goals in life now is I want to be so active in helping people change their life's path that I want that number to change from 97% to a significantly lower percentage. There is prosperity out there for everyone if they believe in themselves and they stand up and take action.
I believe you 100%. You know, there are a lot of people that actually sabotage their own success. How did you make sure you didn't do that? You know, as you went from millionaire to billionaire, how do you make sure that you don't sabotage where you're headed? Because you came from a family of people who weren't able to get to that place with financial success. So how did you keep going when others were like, how are you doing this? And you're so different now. And when they weren't able to understand how you got to your next level. What's your great advice for making sure you don't sabotage yourself and knowing that there's this prosperity for everyone?
Well, number one is you have to understand that you are going to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. Every great person, I'll use myself as an example, but I'll also use another person that I know will shine even greater than I have shined, in my personal opinion. Look at Walt Disney.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Walt Disney and all of the things that he accomplished in his lifetime, all of the legacy that he has brought on since then, there's a Disney World of some sort in several countries around the world today. And I've had the good fortune of being to Disney World and Disneyland, and what an awing experience that is for me, to see the creativity that he helped foster. And so most people may not know that Walt Disney filed for bankruptcy several times in his journey to what we know as his success. I've had the good fortune of taking 5 companies national and international, and I have done extremely well, but I personally have filed bankruptcy 3 times in my life.
Really?
So the real key is that you don't let that fall on your face stop you from getting back up, dusting yourself off, and going on. So many times people will say, well, I failed. They say, I failed, that's my lot in life. I guess I just wasn't meant to be. And my statement is, I decide what's meant to be. No one else decides what's meant to be. And just because I fell and I hit my face on the cement, that did not define who I was or where I could live my life. It only defined that moment in time, and I picked myself up, I brushed myself off, and I said, all right, okay, so I screwed up. Now I've got to redefine, and here's where I'm headed now.
Wow. I'm so glad that you shared that detail. From bankruptcy to billionaire is actually a great book for you, I think. So understanding when you were in that space of bankruptcy the first time, I'm sure, most of us really have never had an attorney or ever had to realize how that's happening. And when you're in the middle of that, how did you learn to get yourself out? Did you have a role model, or it truly was you were blessed with understanding, okay, this is just a moment in time. I know I'm going to see the other side of this. So did you have a role model, or was it that you just knew, okay, this is just a moment and this is just another path to get to the next side?
Well, I don't believe any of us know any of that at birth. It is an education that we have to teach ourselves, but here's the real key, is I knew what I wanted so clearly. I had clarity like no one's business about where I wanted to go in life. And so when I stood up, brushed myself off, I was able to still have the clarity of, I didn't get there this way, but here's where I'm headed so clearly that I just kept right on going.
Awesome. And so that clarity and focus is really what made the difference as you went through that to keep going. And, did you happen to have somebody around you that was being nasty or negative about it? Did you have to manage that too?
I mean, I believe that every one of us has friends, family, associates, whoever that might be, that will always want to say, hey, that really wasn't for you. Why don't you just go get a job? Why don't you just be like everyone else? And so you always are having to hear those things and filter those things out. But, my statement is 97 out of 100 people die broke or on a low fixed income. I am not going to be like everyone else. Mm-hmm. You choose that if that's your choice in life, but that will not be me. And that will give you the determination to stand up and go forward.
It's fantastic, no matter what anybody says, because, as you bring up Walt Disney, not everybody knows either that his biological brother, Roy, actually tried to have him committed into the insane asylum for trying to put together Disney World. So not only was he going bankrupt, his brother was trying to get him committed into the insane asylum for trying to follow through with his business. And certainly, as you are an inspiration yourself, and as people understand more and more about you, that not only did you have trouble of having to have it be disfigured when you were young and deal with the bullying and the nastiness from others, but certainly when it comes to finances, you've had your dips as well. Because oftentimes people think, oh my gosh, well, he's just great at business, and you're saying, hey, nobody taught me this. I taught myself. That I decided I was not going to be one of those people that, quote, changed your life. So as Darrell and I have talked about, that, there's a lot of people in personal self-development out there, but I think there's room for us all. Because if there's just one statement that Darrell says today that you can hold on to that made such a difference in his life, that said, I'm not going to be one of those, and gosh darn it, he wasn't one of those, no matter, one bankruptcy, two bankruptcy, three bankruptcy, and he's obviously sitting very well right now financially, and then now able to give back and to do what his heart desires of teaching everybody else that might be struggling or might be connected or understand or really want to say, you know what, that's it. I'm going to read his book, and I really appreciate what he said, that I'm not going to be one of those people. And, it only sometimes takes one of those statements to change a life. So I really appreciate that today, Darrell, and I really do appreciate, too, what your comment was for the kids of, after you're done listening to today's radio program, go into the mirror and look at yourself and say how I like myself, I love myself, that I can do exactly what I want, that I will find the information, I know it will come, and I will be exactly who I want to be, and mean it. Because that is the truth in neurology, that when we think something and we feel it, it's the end, we feel it, and then we take action, of course it'll happen, of course. Maybe not in the next 10 minutes. Maybe it takes you 5 years to build the company